Hello everyone, semi-retired Bob here. I talk about the carnivore diet, all things related to the carnivore diet, and miscellaneous odds and ends. It has been raining here all day, and now it's dark out, so I'm not going to go do any walking today. So what I'm going to do is attempt to show you start to finish what I'm going to do for dinner tonight. I got a stick of butter here. And I'm going to cut a nice sizable chunk to melt in the pan. About yay big. Let's take this on over here. Hopefully that comes out okay. There we go. I don't know if you can see that or not. There we go. Yep. I've got that in there. So while that melts a little bit, let me see if I can tilt the back of this tripod up so that you can see the cutting board. There we go. I don't actually have to cut anything. Remember I told you I got that couple meals of pork. These are the reason I'm cooking in butter is because these are those center cut pork chops that I got. There's about 2 pounds here. So I'm gonna get these out. Get this. Sorry about that. What I do with those is I put the big Ziplocs that I store things in my freezer. I rinse them out, but I don't reuse them. After I rinse them out, I save them in any scraps, like if I'm cooking something in the oven and use aluminum foil or anything like that, I will put everything inside the Ziploc bag before I throw it in the trash. It just helps, it helps keep any extra smells down here in the church building. I lay things out on the cutting board here. I'm going to salt both sides before I put them in the pan. And then okay, I already flipped that one. But then I'll put some more salt on them if it needs it after I'm done cooking. But I like to put a good amount of salt on before I start cooking because it seems to help the meat crust up a little bit. And I think my paper towels are still out in the trailer. So let's check on that butter, see if it's melted yet. It's getting there. Then I kind of run it around to make sure the whole pan is covered and coated. Okay, let that heat up for just another minute here. Hang on just a second. I'll leave you to... Oops. I'll leave you with the view of the meat. Oh, there's the paper towels. Excellent. Excellent. Found some paper towels, so I got something to wipe my hand off with here. Now, let me see if I can get this over here. Okay, that's a nice big layer of hot butter. Hopefully I got the can get them all to fit in this skillet. It's going to be close, but I think, yes, almost exactly. And yes, I do rinse off the cutting board just in case there was anything bad on the raw meat. I don't normally do that with beef, but with both chicken and pork, I do that out of an abundance of caution. Not that I'm a super great cook or that I know a whole lot about that kind of stuff, but I feel a little more comfortable just wiping the cutting board off a little bit. So now you can see they're in there and they're starting to sizzle. I got the temperature on just 6, so it's not a little bit higher than medium, but it's not anywhere close to high. But that's the start of it. I'm going to take the leftover, the butter that I'm not going to use, I'm going to run that back out to my fridge, and I'll be back with you here in just a little bit. One of the other things I like to do while I'm sitting in here waiting on my food to cook is I do some light exercises. Nothing super serious. I can't do a full sit-up yet because my core is not strong enough, but I'll sit in a chair sideways like this, and I'll just lean back, and so I don't fall over. I can grab a hold right here, hold it here for 10 seconds or so, and then in this reclined position, you can't really see, well, sort of, but I'm doing leg lifts left and right to work on those muscles too. And then when my stomach starts to hurt a little bit, I sit back up. And then while I'm letting my core rest, I just do some knee lifts here. And now back again. I'm not really lifting my legs up, I'm just sort of straightening straight out at the knees for now. And that seems to be enough. And then back up a little bit. And then I can also just do some little mini crunches. Where I go back, I don't want to go too far back because I don't want to risk falling off. And I'm not ready to do this kind of stuff on the ground yet, because while I'm getting better at getting up off the ground, it's still not there. And you can just go back as far as is comfortable for you. And I really think, other than the walking that I'm doing, this working on getting some core strength back is probably the most important exercise that I do. Now let me check on the... Oh, they still need a little bit more before I flip them over. The other thing that I can do here while I'm waiting on food to cook is I take my feet back, so I'm in a little here where I just feel a stretch in the back of my thighs. And I haven't done these in a while because my shoulder's been hurting. It is well enough now that I can do this a little bit. I don't go too far down, I don't do a full push-up, but I just kind of hold it right there. And again, that works the core and a little bit of the back, a little bit of the shoulders, a little bit of the arms. Hold it for about a 10 count, and then I push it back up. And then I go down again, hold it for about a 10 count. And then I push it back up. And you can do these either at a higher elevation or go down lower, however much your shoulders can take. I mean, there are even some people who start off with this. Let me drop the back of this camera down again here so that maybe you can see. There are some people that just this is a good place to start. If you've never done anything, just start doing push-ups against the wall. And then when you feel like you're not getting any workout from this anymore, back your feet up a little bit. And then when you feel like that's not doing it, even lower your hands down one hand width, back your feet up a little bit, and do some more. Until you get worked down to where you feel like you can do them on the countertop. And then from there, I'm not there yet with my shoulders still being slightly hurt, but before I hurt myself, I was actually doing them on the base of a chair, like so, but I don't feel like I'm recovered enough to do that just yet, but that's where we're at. Now let's go take another look at these pork chops. Yeah, you can see how the thinner ones are starting to get turned on top, but the rest of them are turning around the edges. Now, because there's still plenty of butter in there, I just flip them all over. Oh, look at that. The ones in the middle are starting to get that nice brown crust on them from the butter. It's not as hot on this side of the pan, you can see that, but there's that. The one problem I have with, I should have bought slightly fewer or maybe some thicker chops, because with those, I have to use such a big skillet to make them all fit, and they did just fit in there. But the church, that's one of the church's pans, not one of mine. Because those would never fit in the skillet I have. But they don't have a lid for that skillet. I can take, in fact I think I'm going to, I can grab the biggest lid they have down here. And as you can see, it won't actually fit on the top. But I can set it down in there like that. And that'll kind of trap some of the heat and steam in and let them cook on through. So we'll see how those come out. I'm going to let that cook like that with the lid on it for about another 5 minutes, and then I'll flip them turn the heat up and flip them a little bit to make sure they get good and brown and toasty on the outside. Now if those were beef, I would just do them on that side for another minute or so. I'd take them off and they'd still be red in the center. But with pork, I don't like my pork to be not done in the middle. So I'm going to have to let that sit for a bit. But I will be back with you in just a bit. Okay, now as you can see, I've got the lid back off of it. I have turned the heat up to 8 to get them to get a little crispy on the outside. They're probably done now, but I like my meat to be just a little bit browner. So I will be back with you in just a moment when I take it off and put it on my cutting board. As you can see, we have achieved brown goodness. So now I just take all these out of here, put them on the cutting board, like the little scraps too, because those are basically just some of the fat that has rolled off the sides while they were cooking. And with pork being a little bit leaner, I want to make sure I get all those little bites of goodness on my cutting board. And there you have it, folks. that is what's for dinner tonight. I'll let you know if I ate it all, but that is dinner tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed this little cooking video with a little bit of workout in there. Not much to it. It rained all day, so I couldn't get out and walk. Hopefully we'll get back out there and get some walking in tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow.